For my situation, there was no material at all. So there was a course structure, but no lectures, no lecture outlines. I had to develop the material myself week to week. When I was put in that situation, the things that I couldn't change, you just have to accept. So the assessment was terrible in the unit, really horrendous. And in terms of a 100% exam, it was 4 till 6 p.m. on Fridays as the lecture time, and the students had sat through a 2-hour lecture straight before from 2 to 4 p.m. in a very dense area of law as first year students. So you can imagine they've sat there for 2 hours on a Friday afternoon. The attendance was down to about 12 or 15, and it had a reputation of being terrible. So no one wanted to take the course, and indeed no one wanted to teach the course. So you're going in with this huge amount of baggage. Students are told by other students in orientation that this is a terrible unit to take. In that situation, being really positive and saying, well, I can actually change this is really imperative. So not letting it get you down, that even if the assessment is bad or some part of the course is not something you're committed to, you can always make a course into something you want to do. So with that particular course, I thought I'm going to just throw out whatever's been happening in this unit and start over. The thing that I did was introduce Fun Fridays, and I came in and I said, guess what, this is not going to be a lecture. We're going to have some real fun in this 2 hours, and every week I'm going to find something really great for us to do that's linked to the learning materials, and we're going to walk out having learned but having a fun time. So for that unit, I immersed myself in the literature on active learning, student engagement, about different strategies to teaching. So for Fun Fridays, I did lots of different activities that were all active learning but in a large group theatre. So legal history was one of the topics, and I love legal history. I think it's fantastic. But students apparently don't like to read about the history of law. They find that going back to 1066 is very boring. So one of the things I did was implement speed dating in legal history, and all of the students were given a name tag and a speeding ticket. And I explained to them how to summarise materials from our very dense casebook, which I hadn't chosen for the unit. I chunked it into a whole lot of sections and said, now you're 1066 and you're the Magna Carta, and you're Henry VIII, and you've got to read that abstract and make a summary point. I said, now we're going to speed date around the room, and I want you to share your point with at least 8 other people. So I had all of these law students on their feet going around the classroom explaining what happened in 1066 and what the Magna Carta was. And then from that we got all of these summaries together and put them online as a blog, and that became a resource for their notes for this 100% exam. But having changed that, the evaluations in that unit went to extremely high, and from being a disaster unit, I'd walk into uni on a Monday and I'd hear some students saying, what did you do on Friday? Oh, you should have been there, it was such a great experience. So, it was a very positive experience to go through. And I felt very disempowered because I was very junior, a level A. Trying to get a PhD. I've got a young family as well. But in the end, I felt very successful because within those constraints, could turn it around. So my advice to people in any situation where they're constrained by personalities, course materials, casebooks, try to think outside that constraint on how you can make this fun and interesting for students.